You can pick the place, you can pick a time. I say we do it tomorrow. We don't need to plan for this. We don't need lawyers in between us, lawyer statements. It's not how I roll, okay? I don't care about any of that. I want it to be authentic. Like I said, you can take the money. We can raise money live for this conversation. That is how badly the world is demanding it. So I accept it with whistles and bells, everything I fully accept.
So we have some catching up on Candace Owens to do today. I know I have not talked about her in a while. It is a topic that I try to stay away from as much as possible, but I do feel like we need to check in every once in a while to see how things are going. She has gotten into a back and forth with TPUSA, and we also have a popular conservative commentator, Tim Pool, who absolutely went off on her. And I think this is something that we've been waiting for a while. We need these people with bigger platforms and larger voices and bigger audiences to finally call her out. It has taken way too long. So we're going to get into all of this. I will try to go through it as quickly as possible and give you the important highlights. But before we get too much further, I am Outspoken Samantha. Thank you so much for being here. Please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you so much for doing both of those things. All right, so the first thing that we are going to touch on is this post that Candace made probably about a week ago, and I think that this was kind of the catalyst to the back and forth between her and TPUSA. She put this out. It says, "I received information last night that put the final pieces together for me. I now can say with full confidence that I believe Charlie Kirk was betrayed by the leadership of Turning Point USA and some of the very people who eulogized him on stage. Yes, I will be naming names and providing evidence for my claims, and I'm making a personal plea to every well-meaning person who donated to this godforsaken organization to request a refund. You were lied to, and leadership knew." So she put that out about a week ago. Like I said, she has not provided any names. She has not provided any evidence to back up the names she was supposedly going to drop. She has not backed up anything that she has claimed she was going to prove. And not only that, saying that this was a godforsaken organization and telling people to request a refund, this is not just a smear on TPUSA. This has nothing to do with the case that the FBI is investigating, trying to figure out what really happened with the death of Charlie Kirk. This is legitimately trying to destroy this organization, meaning she is trying to take down Charlie's life work, and she is attacking him because he was part of this leadership. Because if she believes that it is evil, it did not start when Charlie Kirk died. She ultimately believes that this is what TPUSA has been forever. So that is what she put out there. So I believe that this is probably why TPUSA finally decided to speak out. So a couple of days later, Blake Neff, who I believe is one of the producers of the show, I'm not entirely sure, took about 10 minutes of the show to let people know that they would be doing a live stream in the future. They went through some of the claims that Candace has made, some of the theories, and they did say that there were several reasons why they have not spoken out about this before. One, they were just trying to respect Candace as Charlie's friend, even though she has offered no respect to them. But they knew that she was his friend, and they were trying to avoid conflict with people that Charlie cared about. They also thought that her claims were so out there and so insane that nobody would actually believe them. Clearly, that's not true. We seem to be a society that runs on insanity and people that crave this kind of nonsense. And they just thought that if they ignored her for long enough, that she would stop. So yeah, that's just not going to happen. So this was how the invitation to Candace Owens went, to say, hey, we are going to go through all of your theories and you're welcome to participate in that conversation.
Candace has mentioned several times that the ball is in our court. So here's what is going to happen. In the near future, there will be a live stream here in Phoenix where we address in a clear and comprehensive way the claims and accusations, the false accusations that have been made against Charlie's family, friends, and the people here at Turning Point. We plan to walk through everything carefully and thoroughly. If Candace is available, we would sincerely welcome her participation in that live stream at our studio here in Phoenix. At this point, we believe the ball is back in her court. Our motivation for doing this is not out of any obligation to Candace. It is about honoring Charlie. We feel a deep responsibility to protect his legacy, his work, and the truth. I feel that. I owe Charlie everything in my life. I feel it immensely. And that is why we feel compelled to speak clearly and openly now. We'll have more on this in the near future.
They said, if Candace is available, she's welcome to participate. I think that language, that verbiage is important to remember. So this was something that Candace put out on her show in response to that.
Stop Charlie's rise, breaking bread with them and refusing to have a conversation with me, and you know that I cared about Charlie. Have you no shame? We're going to find out. You can pick the place. You can pick the time. I say we do it tomorrow. We don't need to plan for this. We don't need lawyers in between us, lawyer statements. It's not how I roll, okay? I don't care about any of that. I want it to be authentic. Like I said, you can take the money. We can raise money live for this conversation. That is how badly the world is demanding it. So I accept it. With whistles and bells, everything, I fully accept.
So that you can pick the place, you can pick the time language. We all heard it. She said it. Blake then posts this on X and says, the live stream we announced on the show Wednesday has been set. At 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local time on Monday, December 15th, a collection of Charlie's friends will respond to statements made by real Candace Owens to set the record straight once and for all prior to the opening of America Fest. We'll be live streaming from Charlie's Phoenix studio. Our offer from yesterday holds. If Candace wishes to join us in person in Phoenix, she is welcome to do so. She can let us know by the end of the day today. And Candace says, we don't need lawyers between us. We don't need to plan for this. We don't need to make a big deal. Let's just do it tomorrow. In Blake's post, he says that this is going to be a collection of Charlie's friends. They're going to have more than just a couple of hosts of the show responding to her stuff. They're going to go through every single one of her claims, every single one of her theories, every person that she has dragged through the mud, and respond to it thoroughly. So yes, that is why they want to plan for this, because she's had 3 months of putting this stuff together and putting it out there. They're planning to do this, to go through 3 months worth of material as thoroughly as possible, because they know how much people have actually latched onto this and how much they believe it. So they know that they have to be thorough. That's what they're planning. And she doesn't get to dictate to them when it's going to be good for everybody else. So after he put that out there, she says, kind of weird how you didn't email or call me to ask about times or availability and chose to instead tweet this confirmation out at midnight. Why am I learning about this on X? December 15th does not work in person, and 2 p.m. Pacific time is also literal time I do my podcast live every day, which you knew. But we will happily cancel the daily podcast and we'll join you guys virtually instead for the live stream on the 15th, if that works on your end. Let's lock it in. Now, when all of this was going on, I said to myself, and I actually did a post about this on TikTok, I believe, where I said she's going to find an excuse to back out. She's going to find an excuse to back out and then blame them as being the reason why she can't participate. She's going to find some reason to not be able to do this because she cannot face these people. She has been accusing them of actual murder for months. And it's a lot harder to do that in person because you can't log off. You can't exit the live stream. You can't control the narrative if you're there in person. You have to deal with the questions that are being asked of you. I was just like, she's not going to do this. She's absolutely not. It's too much out of her control. And of course, she had excuses.
So I accept it. With whistles and bells, everything, I fully accept. You can pick the place. You can pick the time. At 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local time on Monday, December 15th from Charlie's Phoenix studio, our offer from yesterday holds. If Candace wishes to join us in person in Phoenix, you can pick the place, you can pick the time. And obviously, leading up to Christmas, that's the last week of our show. Obviously, it's a pretty busy week. You can pick the place, you can pick the time, but no, they need to have it in person in Phoenix on December 15th, or they cannot have me at all.
And she did say she wanted it to be authentic. I think the most authentic it can be is in person. And they gave her a week and a half to plan for this. Somebody who homeschools their kids, somebody who can dictate their own schedule, somebody who can decide when their own podcast goes live.
It's not how I roll, okay? I don't care about any of that. I want it to be authentic, like I said.
You know, someone who has this flexibility and, again, the means and the resources to fly in that morning and fly out that night.
It's not how I roll, okay?
Like, there really is no excuse.
It's not how I roll, okay?
Of course, it's their fault. Of course, you know, any number of reasons, it's their fault. that she can't be there. She did keep going with the excuses. This is a post by Colin Rugg. It says, Candace Owens says her husband wouldn't let her travel to Phoenix for the show with the TPUSA, says he runs the household. Quote, even if I could have made it work, which I couldn't have because my husband instantly said, no, you cannot do it this Monday. He runs the household and he has an important thing going on that day, which involves people that are coming in from overseas. Well, that's convenient. I just think that she can't face these people. She can't. She is a coward. It is a lot easier to accuse somebody of killing somebody that they loved, of murdering them, of planning their death behind your own computer screen and behind your own keyboard. It's a lot harder to do face to face, especially if you don't even believe what you're saying. So TPUSA is planning their live stream event for 4 p.m. Eastern time on December 15th. And I think it should be pretty interesting. But how Candace is planning on doing it is she is going to live stream their live stream and just respond to everything that they're saying. Meaning she is going to control the narrative. She is going to make sure that her cult following listens to every word that she says. And she's going to do it in the most inauthentic way that she can possibly think of.
This is how I roll, okay?
So let's get into what's been going on with Tim Pool. He has been more outspoken over the last couple of weeks. I have seen him call her a sociopathic scumbag, a narcissist. He is calling out how she is just lying and dragging everybody through the mud. And it's finally happening, and more people on the right need to be doing this, because if you can call people out on the left for their insanity, but you can't call out people on the right for their insanity, or people that you would consider in your same circles, or, that you are friends with or whatever, then I don't think that you're a serious person. I don't think that you should be taken seriously, because we need to call out the insanity where it exists, regardless of either side, or we are going to lose this country to insanity. So after he had spent a couple weeks calling her out, this happened at his property on the evening of December 5th. And then he posted this on December 6th. He said, last night, a vehicle approached our property and opened fire. No one was hurt. Our security team is reviewing the incident and will be relaying the report to the appropriate law enforcement. This is the price we pay for speaking out against evil. Now, ultimately, I think a lot of people's first reaction was unhinged leftist, activist. I mean, we have seen an increase in political violence against people on the right for a long time. And it very well could have been a member of Antifa or something like that. But back to something that Blake said in their live stream, he said that they have been getting a lot of harassment from Candace followers, and they are even worse than Antifa.
Instead of being able to grieve properly after one of the most heinous murders in American history, a murder many of us had to witness, my friends have had to endure harassment from people who have gotten whipped up by what Candace is saying. In fact, I would say we have suffered more harassment from these people than we have from Antifa supporters who overtly celebrate Charlie's murder. And just like a lot of those Antifa members, many of these people take this delight in how gross and unpleasant they can be. What our friends have had to endure is not funny, and it's not insignificant. It is evil. I have seen it.
And I've dealt with a lot of this insanity in my own comments, not people necessarily being threatening, but people definitely being more unhinged than even some of the most unhinged leftists that I have talked about and dealt with before. So what Candace is doing is becoming dangerous. And obviously, we still don't know who was behind this incident with Tim Pool. I don't believe that he has released that information yet. It could be anybody, because there's a lot of people that are insane. But based on Tim's latest rant, which was a couple of days after this incident, I think that he is suspecting a Candace cult member as well. So this rant is about 3 minutes long. I'm going to play the whole thing. I'm going to try and bleep out some of the language because it's a lot. And I do think it's worth listening to. If you're not interested, just skip ahead in the timestamps. Here we go.
Candace Owens is a evil scumbag. She is a degenerate. She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you told me? She has no security. She doesn't deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit. She's making everyone else suffer. And all of these conservatives out there that send me messages have no balls to call her out. More and more people have started doing it. They send me the messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim. I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But DM me like I did something for you as you cower, scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which he's doing to me now.
Yeah, that was the
fucking done with these people.
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give fucking shits. No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a shit about her security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at fucking property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got fucking strangers coming up to my house in Maryland, breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who try to live there. How the fuck am I even supposed to sell this property? And it's all lies. It's all hypocrisy. And it is for the purpose of making money. And she does not live the way other people live. And she claims she liked Charlie. She loved Charlie. And she is burning everything down that he built because she is evil. She is evil. And I'll say it again. This conservative movement is fractured. It's fried, whatever it is. Okay. Republicans are on track to lose the midterms. They were actually trending the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered. Yeah. And this is the point, isn't it? The most effective political assassination in history. And thanks to the likes of the vile Candace Owens, she has turned Turning Point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them. I don't get paid by any of these people. I'm not on good terms necessarily with Turning Point USA. They didn't invite me to their stupid event. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. They invited me back after I started criticizing Candace. I'm not going to your event. I'm over all of this shit. The last thing that I need to deal with is a bunch of cowards in conservative media refusing to stand up to her. Megyn Kelly, come on. I appreciate the kind words, but come on. Such fucking pathetic bullshit. And I get people saying, Tim, thank you so much for talking about it. I don't care. I'm not doing a favor for anybody. I'm not doing this to benefit anybody. Nobody's paying me. There's no fucking Russia. There's no fucking Israel. There's just me sticking my neck out and then risking dying for what? A bunch of cowards that want to stand up to protect themselves? People fucking Candace Owens.
I couldn't believe that she put you in the thumbnail of her piece today.
I'm done.
The idea that she didn't imply that you had some benefit or that you benefit somehow.
She benefited. I think she's a Fed. And I think she killed Charlie. No one benefited more than her.
So that was that. He talked about his security, how things have become increasingly dangerous for him. I know that there have been other clips circulating where he's not even sure he can continue this show after this year because of how dangerous things have gotten. And I have to agree with him that Candace has just been completely reckless with people's safety. I truly believe that she is a sociopathic narcissist. I don't think that she cares about the damage she's causing. In fact, I think that it is intentional. And I know that a lot of people think that this is just about infighting or it's about drama and they don't want to get involved in this. But with the damage that Candace Owens has done or that she is trying to do to Charlie's legacy, despite saying that she loves him and that she's friends with him, and that she's just trying to find out the truth, and the damage that she's done to TPUSA, that is a huge hit to the conservative movement. This is not just about attacking Charlie or taking down TPUSA anymore. This is about attacking one of the things that has been holding up the conservative movement for a long time. I don't think that we realized how important that Charlie Kirk was and his organization until he was gone and until we saw all these attacks against it. Charlie Kirk was the conservative movement. I don't think that anybody can deny that after his death, the conservative movement has become a mess and we don't really know which direction we're pointing anymore. And when I see Candace attacking his legacy and attacking his work and attacking TPUSA, to me, that is an attack on the conservative movement as a whole. She is saying that all of us are evil because all of us did support TPUSA. All of us did appreciate the work that Charlie was doing. All of us saw the value in that. We all held it up and we all supported him. So she's not only saying that what he believed and what he fought for was rooted in evil, but she's also saying if you supported this, you need to get your money back, you need to take it back, and you need to step away and stay away from these people. And you have to think about what's going to happen if TPUSA goes away. They are the most influential organization in high schools and in colleges. Those are the places that we need to be if we want to save this country. It is about the next generation. It is about these young minds that are being targeted with this liberal insanity, and they are not stopping anytime soon. And these chapters and these turning point leaders were in the places that we absolutely need to be. And if that goes away, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. And it seems like she is directly attacking that. And as far as Tim Pool's final comment, where he said that he thinks that she's a Fed and that she killed Charlie, I'm starting to think that that theory actually makes sense because she has gained the most from his death. She has benefited the most. She has tried to hijack his global audience and his global influence. No one can deny that she absolutely hates Israel, and Charlie was the biggest pro-Israel voice in the conservative movement, constantly trying to find a way to improve people's perception of them. And that was a barrier to her wanting everybody to hate Israel as much as she does. And now he's gone. Not to mention she was part of TPUSA, so she would know their event protocols. She would know how they set things up and how they plan things. So those are all very important details that she would know. he said she's benefited the most. I couldn't agree more. And I think the more that she tries to spin people away from what we think happened here, the more that she tries to create all of this chaos and confusion around this case, and the more that she has turned this into not only talking about the case, but an attack on anybody who speaks out against her in the conservative movement. She's trying to smear literally everybody. She's taken on Tim Pool. She's taken on Ali Bestucky. She's taken on Steven Crowder, taken on Ben Shapiro. She's trying to destroy everybody in the conservative movement. So the more that we see this unfolding in the way that it has, and the more that we see her action and her lack of emotion toward the people that are actually grieving his death, that loved him, not only do I think that she lacks the human emotion to make it possible for her to participate in something like this without thinking twice about it, I think that for whatever reason, she is determined to use this to tear the entire conservative movement down. And the more that she spins this chaos around the case, the more that I think that it's because she doesn't want us looking in her direction. But I don't have any evidence to support that claim. You know, I don't know that that is true. This is all allegedly. This is all just my opinion. But I think it makes the most sense that she was behind it. And I'm just going to leave that there. Anyway, that is all I have for you in this one. I know it was a lot, but like I said, I don't talk about Candace Owens that often. So when I do, I've got a lot to catch up on. And that's not even all of it. That's just kind of the important details. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. As you guys know, we always end with Charlie Kirk. So keep it real, and I will see you in the next one.